Views expressed by Casters Guild members are only the opinions of that member, and that could change from day to day. Guild members may use mature language, but that in no way means they are mature. Listener discretion is advised.
Starfield gets leaked and panned. Elon Musk finds himself unwelcome at a Valorant tournament. And what was the first LARP? That's the spell we're casting tonight on Casters Guild. Thank you for tuning into this episode of Casters Guild. I am your Guildmaster Rick Perry and former Dread Pirate Roberts.
And I'm your Guildmaster Baron Kane and your current Dread Pirate Roberts.
Yeah, that's how it works. Just pass it down.
I hope you're enjoying retirement.
Oh yeah, it's nice. You know, not having to be on the high seas all the time. It's
right. Yeah.
You know, I do miss the mask though. It was dreadfully comfortable.
Oh, we retired the mask.
Oh, okay. Well,
yeah.
All right, well, you know what? We got news to cover, and I'm gonna get this out of the way because it's a bit of a bummer, and I'd rather start on a bummer than end on one. Earlier this week, Arleen Sorkin passed away at age 67. For anyone who doesn't know, Arleen Sorkin did a lot of things, including being a writer and an actress for many years with a lot of cool stuff under her belt. But the most notable one being that she voiced Harley Quinn for Batman the Animated Series.
Yeah.
And that role was created for that television show. And she had such an impact in taking that role and making it what it was that now that role is in comic books, you know, Suicide Squad, movies, all over the place. Own HBO series. You know, and it would not be what it was if not for Arleen Sorkin.
Right, exactly. Funny story, you know, to contrast the sad story. But I feel like I need to tell the story because I need to hold myself accountable. I was, back when I was running my game store, I had a couple guys come in. Never been in the store before, right? And we got on the subject of Harley Quinn, I think, and I think I said something about Tara Strong and about how she is, you know, the voice of Harley Quinn, which, you know, she is.
Yeah.
But I was definitive she is the voice of Harley Quinn at that point in time, and like the only one. And they were like, no, someone else did her voice before. And I'm like, man, I don't think so. Got into almost like a full-on argument in this store, right? Later on, I did some looking up online. I was like, oh, damn, they were right. So I know you guys aren't listening, but yeah, sorry about that. You were absolutely right. And I tell the story as often as possible to hold myself accountable for it.
I almost feel like Tara might not even have that voice in her toolbox, if not for Arleen.
Oh, no, no, she was absolutely doing an impression.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And Tara has definitely used that voice for other things since then and developed it in order to mimic Arleen. So I'm sure Tara has a ton of, you know, reverence for Arleen.
Yeah, even on that, even on the Harley Quinn show that they do, they even reference that accent.
Yeah.
Because Harley Quinn doesn't have that accent in that cartoon.
Right.
But then they do like a little flashback and you see her in the Harley Quinn outfit and she's doing the voice and she was like, oh, I hated doing that voice or something like that. So, yeah, it's funny that they referenced it, but yeah, it's really enjoyable, and I'm happy to see the impact that she's had. Because, I mean, even Margot Robbie does that voice, essentially, for her character, Harley Quinn.
Like a version of it, yeah.
Yeah.
There's definitely like a New York-style accent to the character, no matter who does it.
Right.
All right, so moving on. As of the day of recording, and that would be August 30th. Today, there is a D&D game going on the SAG AFTRA picket line.
I saw that. That's interesting. Yeah. I mean, yeah. Go ahead.
I was just going to say that's a hell of a way to protest.
Yeah. And the people involved have been very I will say that I have not specifically seen Brennan say anything about the strikes, but Dropout has been very vocal about their support of the strikes, and they've even given their people, leaves. Like, look, if you don't feel comfortable doing this because of these strikes, by all means, you're fine, you're safe, you do what you need to do. So yeah, it's been pretty cool how that I've seen them handling it.
I never would have thought of doing this, but it's so genius. It's going to bring so much attention to the strike. You've got Dimension 20, Critical Role, and Dungeons and Daddies all teaming up to do this thing. And it's not even just a streamed D&D game. It's supporting the organization that is supporting strikers who can't afford to eat or can't afford their rent. Yeah, I'm not sure what the name of that organization is, and I feel bad, but I do know, they've been doing a lot of good work for these strikers, and they can use the infusion. So even if you missed the game, because obviously if this is the first you're hearing about it, it's a little late to join the charity stream, still, I'd say look up that organization and donate if you can. And it's not just the game either. They're also throwing a quote-unquote heroes feast for all of the strikers, where all of those organizations, Critical Role, Dungeons & Daddies, Dimension 20, have pooled together and brought a bunch of food trucks and are just like giving the strikers food who are on the picket line.
That's really cool.
They're giving a bunch of prizes to everybody who donates. It's just a cool thing.
Yeah, I'm loving seeing the support that they're doing for them on there.
And it's really cool that while we are missing out on new content coming out of these struck studios, because, writers aren't writing new stuff for them, actors aren't acting to make new stuff for them, that the people who are striking, they're just they can't stop being creative. They can't stop loving doing what they're doing. They're still giving us content, and we can still give them money for that content that goes directly to support them, and it's not going to the studios.
Right, exactly. So yeah, I would suggest, anything we can do, keep supporting them, what's the way to put this? Keep showing our lack of support for the studios. Just keep letting the studios know that they're in the wrong.
Yeah.
And then hopefully we can get back to business as usual. But until then, again, I'm completely fine having no new content.
I'm catching up. I'm taking it as an opportunity. There's so many things that I haven't watched that I'm like, man, I could go watch this now. Or my game backlog. I've been working my way through that. Let's be honest, I've been playing a lot of Baldur's Gate 3.
That's fair.
But as long as we're talking about gaming, let's talk about Starfield a bit, because there's a couple things I want to talk about when it comes to Bethesda's new space exploration game. So there's been a lot of negative press around Starfield recently out of certain games journalists and certain fans, like, who fancy themselves as critics, and they seem to be surprised that they're getting a Bethesda game.
Okay. So,
Baron, when you first heard about Starfield, what did you think you were going to get when it came out?
I will say that I had things that I wished it was going to be, but sure. What I'm figuring I'm going to get is a single player game that you are doing missions in.
Would you describe
in a very set? Huh?
Would you describe maybe your expectations as Skyrim in space?
Yeah. I was pretty much, that's what I was doing. I was trying to describe, or even Fallout, because Fallout is just Skyrim in the future.
Yeah, Fallout in space, Skyrim in space. This is what I expected. Like, when they announced the game, everything they've been talking about it, I'm like, oh yeah, Skyrim in space.
Right.
People are complaining and actively complaining online, and the biggest thing that's being repeated is it's just Skyrim in space. And I'm like, yeah, duh. It's Bethesda. What thing were you expecting other than Skyrim in space?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not even expecting really, really cool spaceship customization, because I mean, even the home customization in Skyrim is pretty basic. I mean, I guess Fallout 4, I guess, got way more involved, but
The thing is, I think what people are expecting out of this game is something they were never realistically going to get. Mm-hmm. They were expecting them to take, oh my god, what's that other space exploration game that everyone was disappointed with when it first came out? Because you could go anywhere and do anything, and there were like a jillion planets, but like there was nothing to do once you got there.
Are you talking about
No Man's Sky?
Yeah, that's it. I knew Sky. I had Sky in my head.
No Man's Sky. People were really upset at that game. Now, people were expecting Bethesda to make a version of No Man's Sky that has like a bajillion planets, and you can go to any planet you want and land anywhere that you want, and there's still to be a Skyrim level adventure in front of them, no matter where they went.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just ridiculous. What you would need terabytes of storage in order to download a game that could do anywhere close to that. And even then, it's still kind of unrealistic to expect. And even then, there are still tons of planets that you can land on. You can choose mostly wherever you want to land. And even if you land in one of the undesignated spots, because there are designated spots you can land on each planet, that, like, if you go here, there's actually shit to do. Mm-hmm. And there are even designated spots on those planets that you can land, but, like, you can choose not to land in those spots, and it'll make a bubble around you on that planet, and you can't go outside that bubble. But that bubble is still 5 times the size of, like, a GTA map.
That's not good enough.
No, apparently people want you to be able to just,
more.
People just want you to be able to land anywhere you want on the planet and explore the planet and just be able to, like, walk across the planet.
No, this game needs to literally take me to space, to an alien planet.
And then people were upset that, like, when they got in a spaceship and traveled to another planet, that, like, they fast traveled to another planet. And it's like, you want that shit to happen in real time?
Yeah,
like,
no.
Like, do you know how long it takes to get from Earth to Mars? Like, you want it to actually take you, like, 3 years? Like, not in-game time, like, real time, 3 years to get from one planet to another? I don't understand.
I mean, you don't have to fast travel, do you?
I mean, I honestly don't know. Most of these complaints are coming from a leaker anyway, and that's a whole nother story that I'm going to get to in just a minute. And I haven't played it myself because I'm not going to indulge in the leak, and I've got other things I need to play anyway. I mean, like I said, I've been playing a lot of Baldur's Gate 3, and God of Rock just came out, and I've been having a lot of fun with that. But, like, people are, like, literally saying you can't explore planets, Bethesda lied. But, like, you can, just not the whole fucking thing all at once. Like, why would you want a whole fucking planet that would take you literal real-time months to walk across? And how could you expect them to actually fill entire planets full of interesting shit to do?
Man, you're asking the wrong person. I have for a long time that the video game community, at least the very loud, outspoken few, are never going to be satisfied with anything.
I just don't understand. Like, from what I've seen out of the leaks, from all the things, the screenshots and the videos that people are posting and then subsequently complaining about, they're like, look at this video, look at this screenshot, look how shitty this game is. I'm looking at it, I'm like, this is a fucking miracle. Mm-hmm. This game looks amazing. It's the kind of game that looks so big and there's so much to do that there's no way I'm going to even fucking touch it, because I have a life that's, like, oppressive when it comes to the amount of time I have to play video games, and I don't have the time to dig into a game like this. I'm struggling with playing Baldur's Gate 3 because of the amount of content that's in Baldur's Gate 3.
Yeah.
And you're asking for literal galaxies more. I'll just never understand it, Baron. Here's the bottom line, and I'm sure you agree. You are killing yourself with your own expectations if you think that this game was going to be anything other than Skyrim in space.
Mm-hmm.
It's fucking Bethesda.
Yep.
The company that sold you Skyrim 15 goddamn times, and you think they're not going to do it again. I mean,
ding dongs.
Howard already said he regretted how early he announced Elder Scrolls 6 back in 2018. because of how much work they're having to put into it and how much further out it still looks like it is. And they're still putting work into that. And you think this is going to be more? You think Starfield's going to be the thing? I just don't get it. I don't get it. I don't ever think I will get it. But this is where we're at when it comes to Starfield and people's expectations and the way they're complaining.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And like I said, just I would get ready for any new game coming out. There being just loud, annoying people. I mean, I'm sure there's even... I guess I was one of those loud, annoying people about Baldur's Gate and the early access stuff. But even then, it was just a joke. Because, that game was amazing even as early access.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah, I don't know.
All right, so let's talk about what started this whole fucking thing.
Okie dokie.
So back on August 24th, a man was arrested and processed, a man who goes by the name of Darren Harris, by the Shelby County, Tennessee Sheriff's Office, 4 days after he posted 45 minutes of Starfield online. And this 45 minutes is the thing that most people are getting their information from and people are upset about, this 45 minutes of the game. Now, this 29-year-old dude is getting a felony, and he got caught trying to sell stolen copies of the game.
Just stolen copies.
That's correct. So, he got his hands on some stolen copies of the game. He put a 45-minute video of it online and then started trying to sell copies. This including a particular 60-second clip on Imager, which was viewed over 1 million times. Anybody who's watched this clip or even watched the 45 minutes, and this is what really infuriates me about a lot of people who complain about this game. This dude playing it obviously had never played a Bethesda game before in his life and had no idea what he was doing. And yet this is what people are fucking upset about. He began uploading additional copies of the game, including the Constellation Edition, complete with custom-made NASA Punk Space Watch. And it was he was posting it all on Meraki. I keep wanting to say Meraki, but it's this Japanese kind of drop shipping Wish website. I'm not sure how you pronounce Mercari, Mercari.
That sounds right.
However you pronounce it, this is where he's posting it. I'm trying to see. I'm looking through it. I'm looking through an article on Kotaku. I'm trying to see where he got the copies. If that got found out. Apparently, he posted videos of himself going to FedEx and paying shipping for copies that he successfully sold. One video showed him putting labels on packages with a pile of Starfield copies next to him. Let's see, he was released from jail on August 25th after a bail of $10,000 was posted. His next court date is September 8th. According to the police report, he is accused of stealing 67 copies of the game, which he claims he legally purchased from the Vantiva Logistics warehouse. And Bethesda and Microsoft have not been able to be reached for comment. So there's going to be a lot around this case that's going to come out over the next couple of weeks. I'm sure we're going to find out what happened at the warehouse, whether he stole it from the warehouse. If he did, quote unquote, buy them for the warehouse, I'm sure that guy will get charged as well. But yeah, if you think 67 copies and he's got special editions too, that's going to be way more than enough for it to be a felony theft charge.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But I guess my whole point of bringing the whole thing up is one story just kind of leads into the other. This guy who doesn't know what he's doing when it comes to Bethesda games posts a 45-minute video of him playing the game. He's obviously got no idea what he's doing. And he even admits in the video that he's not an expert and he's just a beginner when it comes to these kind of games. And then the entire fucking gaming world blows up about this footage about how this is going to be a shitty game because based off of one dude who's never played a Bethesda game in his life posted 45 minutes of footage.
Oh, well, he's gone to jail. Again, I'm not necessarily one of those people who are like, oh, you tried to screw over a big company, you should go to jail. But,
yeah,
you're also doing things I don't like, so go to jail.
Yeah,
go straight to
jail. To be honest, theft doesn't just screw over the big companies. You're also creating a false scarcity. As far as I'm concerned, you're just as bad as a scalper, if not worse.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I mean, it wouldn't be the first time a game came out and a bunch of people expected something that it wasn't. And it's like, well, obviously based off of your opinion here, you've never played a Bethesda game before.
You're right.
We said the same thing when everybody was pissed off at Cyberpunk. And Cyberpunk isn't a Bethesda game, but everybody's like, oh, it's so glitchy. And it's like, obviously you've never played a fucking Bethesda game before.
Yeah, anybody complaining about glitchiness can just go away. Seriously. It's like, have you ever, it's like if you've never played a Bethesda game, maybe I understand, but it's still like, come on.
If you were excited about this game, don't let the negative hype dissuade you. Because if you were excited about this game, chances are you were a Bethesda fan in the first place, and you're going to get exactly what you expected to get. It's going to be Skyrim in space, just much bigger, a little bit more advanced. There's going to be new stuff. Enjoy your game for what it is. Don't let these COD bros who are expecting something entirely different dissuade you from enjoying your game.
Exactly.
But you know what, Baron? It's coming up on spooky season.
Nuh-uh.
And in case you don't want to wear that lame "This Is My Halloween Costume" t-shirt anymore.
I don't.
There's a place where you can get some really cool stuff for this upcoming spooky season.
Like even Halloween t-shirts?
Oh, hell yeah.
Uh-oh.
That's tvillain.com.
T-Villain is a t-shirt site where you'll find a killer limited edition shirt being sold for $13 only while supplies last. Every Monday, the site features a new design by a new artist. We would tell you what's featured right now, but by the time you hear this, it's already changed.
They choose the most ingenious designs that reflect everything evil and villainy, as well as works pertaining to anything artistic, pulp style, lowbrow, pop culture, TV, movies, music, video games, comics, etc. All things cool and evil, basically. To check them out and help out Casters Guild, click our link in the description. Elon Musk is back at it again. Back on his bullshit.
Back on his bullshit.
And he's getting called out for it, which is fan-fucking-tastic. So Elon Musk attended the Valorant Champions Grand Finale in Los Angeles this past weekend. When a Jumbotron... When they put Elon Musk on the Jumbotron to just be like, hey, look, Elon Musk is here, the audience responded by booing.
Okay.
Like the entire freaking stadium is just booing and started a chant, bring back Twitter.
Okay.
So, I mean, this isn't like a huge story. Honestly, it's just something that makes me fucking giggle. It's just, here's this guy who thinks he's so fucking awesome and thinks like he's doing awesome shit by buying Twitter and then turning it into X and this whole verification system snafu that he's doing and trying to get people to pay for Twitter. And like the moment he shows up in a room full of geeks, just gets booed the hell basically out of there and gets told that his most recent move was just like a dickhead thing and he should just undo it.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's more things to boo him about besides fucking Twitter, but...
Oh, yeah.
I mean...
It's just the most recent thing. It's the thing that's most on... I just find it extra hilarious because, like, when I first started hearing about Elon Musk, before we all knew who he was and everything that he was up to, like, geeks were looking up to him as, like, the real-world equivalent of Iron Man.
Right.
That he was going to be the tech hero that was going to like save our planet and, you know, bring us to the forefront. And now it's just been revealed, like the more and more we found out about him, that he's just another shitty billionaire who has no idea what the fuck he's doing.
A shitty billionaire who just used daddy's money to buy inventions to attribute to himself.
Exactly. And he's just now getting called out by the very community who was singing his praises and like vaulted him to the celebrity that he is today. And I don't know how much of more of a reality call the man could get.
That's not even a reality call to him, I guarantee you.
No, but like that's my point. Honestly, is this isn't going to change anything. Like it's not going to make him stop being who he is or stop doing what he did. But if this isn't, like, there's just nothing that could. Because you went to this event where obviously you came here because you thought these were your people, the geeks and nerds of the world, and you just got booed.
Mm-hmm.
Like, who do you think is on your side at this point? Who do you think actually thinks what you're doing is a good idea if it's not these people?
Yeah, the people who you thought were your crowd,
Mhm.
but even then, I think that really the only people who are hanging on to the illusion that is Elon Musk are geek bros.
Right.
I'm I know I'm not trying to say that to sound fucking gatekeepy or anything like that, but I mean there are quote unquote bros in every walk of life, and geek is not necessarily safe from it.
Right.
And
I think if anything, geeks are. It's really bad in the geek world, if anything, because so many geeks think they are exempt from it. Like they're like, oh, I can't be a bro. I'm a geek, and it's like, no, dude, that's how you're acting. This quote unquote nice guy thing that you've got going on. Like, I'm just a geeky geek. I can't be one of these jock toxic masculinity types. And it's like, yeah, you are. And you say you don't want to be gatekeepy, but if anything, they're the ones who are doing it. Like, they're the ones who go, oh, you're not allowed in this space. You're not like us. And those are the same kind of people who are, actually still enjoying what Elon's doing.
Yeah. So I guess I feel a need to explain Geek Bros a little more, because I kind of felt bad as soon as I said it, and I was like, but no, I don't.
Yeah.
Because I think that for me, like the whole bro thing, it kind of stems from like frat bros.
Mhm.
Like, and we both grew up in the 80s, essentially. We've seen the movies. Apparently college movies were real hot back in the 80s. And the frat brothers were always like the dicks.
The villains.
They were always the dicks. Unless you were the fraternity that wasn't the dicks. But you were always the outliers then.
I mean, and let's be real, if you really look back at it, even if you look at like Revenge of the Nerds and like Animal House and the things where like you had the outsider frat house who were like the quote unquote good guys, look back on the actions that they did with a modern lens. They were dicks too.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're right.
Even though they in those movies they were the quote unquote good guys, if you look on it back on it nowadays, it's like, that's not a funny prank. That's just sexual harassment.
No, that was sexual assault. Brother.
Yeah.
But yeah, like Animal House. That's all like. Well, yeah, Animal House. That's sexual harassment. That is like that's statutory at some point. And then you go to Revenge of the Nerds, where that's full on just sexual, non-consensual assault,
rape.
That's
like...
yeah. Ugh. Yeah, you're right, man. You're right. You're right. Yeah, just frats in general were just pieces of trash in these movies, weren't they?
Yeah, even the ones that they tried to paint in a good light.
Wow. So I fall back on that. So like, yeah, the whole bro thing for me goes back to the whole, frat bros being the dicks, the villains essentially of all these movies. So yeah, when we say cog bros, we mean, we know that there are people who play Call of Duty and aren't dicks. The cog bros are. They're the bullies. They're the, the ones who think they're better than everybody else. They're, the elitist gamers who shove it in people's faces.
And I think kind of like we explained last episode, if you are just somebody who plays COD, we're not necessarily talking about you. But if you're somebody who plays COD and you're not a COD bro, then you know exactly who we're talking about. Because I know you deal with them all the time. Yes.
Yeah, if you have to stop and wonder if we're talking about you, if you get upset automatically because you think we're talking about you, we probably are, honestly. If you even have to question it. If you don't have to question it, you're probably safe.
If you still believe in the idea of like alphas and betas and you think you're an alpha and like everybody else is a beta cuck, we're talking about you.
are people so horrible?
Who knows, man?
Just the worst. I'm glad we got that out of the way. I'm glad we talked about that because we've said it quite a few times.
Yeah.
And it's made me question it every time we've said it. Like the whole COD Bros. It's like, are we just making fun of the whole game at this point?
We're not, because I know people who play Call of Duty. I know people who play Valorant and Call of Duty and Battlefield, and I almost want to say Fortnite too, but that's almost like an entirely different group of people. I know people who play these games, these quote-unquote bro games, who are fantastic people. And when I talk to these people, they're the first to acknowledge that the community for these games is entirely toxic and full of terrible people. They're just like, I just like the game. Like, half the time I play on mute. Like, it's... Like me, I am an Overwatch fan. As much as I say Overwatch sucks, because it does, I am an Overwatch fan, and I'm the first person to admit that community is toxic as fuck.
Yes.
So, I mean, like, if you're looking around and you're going, yeah, this community is toxic, and you're not like those people, yeah, we're not talking about you. But you know who we're talking about, so I almost feel like there isn't a need to explain, because the people who we aren't talking about know we're not talking about them.
Yes, exactly.
So on to more video game news. Over on the Pokemon side of things, is anybody still playing Pokemon Go?
I mean, I'm not. I'm not.
I know a few people who still play on a daily basis, and I still pick it up every once in a while and check it out. For anyone who is still playing Pokemon Go, you should know that Paldea region Pokemon are on their way to Pokemon Go.
Yay!
So
I don't know what that means.
So Paldea is the region from Scarlet and Violet, one of the newest Pokemon games that came out.
Okay.
And they announced a bunch of new Pokemon with Paldea. Of course, they do with every region. And honestly, it was one of the first times in a long time that I was excited about some of the new Pokemon.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's always some new Pikachu clone, right? In every one of the... Like, you have Pachirisu, you have Mimikyu, Emolga. There are a bunch of different Pikachu clones. And this was one of the first ones I was like, hey, that actually is a cool-looking Pokemon that was like the Pikachu clone. That was Palmot. And then they had this really cool Pokemon called Tinkaton that carries around a giant freaking hammer that's part fairy type and part steel type. And I love me some Tinkaton. So anyone who is still playing Pokemon Go, or maybe you just still have it installed on your phone and you haven't touched it in forever, maybe dust it off and give it a shot. They've added a lot of new features to the game. I actually just started playing it again, like last week, just to see all the stuff I missed. And there's a lot of cool new features to it and these new Pokemon. If you want to get yourself a little chili pepper dinosaur, give it a shot.
Chili pepper dinosaur.
It is my favorite one of the starters, and now I'm kicking myself for not remembering what the actual starter was called. But like he's just like a little cute dinosaur that looks like a chili pepper. And then I have been saying this for a while now. I always recommend to anybody who has a Switch and was disappointed in the Joy-Cons or doesn't really like the controllers. I always say, hey, go get a $20 wired controller. And it's going to work great, and it's going to work better, and you don't have to worry about stick drift, you don't have to worry about charging it, and it's only $20. And I usually recommend either Power A or PDP for those controllers. And PDP is actually going to be putting out a new series of controllers that they're calling their Realms series. That's with the Z, Realms. And they look pretty cool. They're transparent controllers that have like little dioramas in them for different characters and like actual like little figures of the characters in the controllers themselves. It's mostly Sonic right now, and it's not just controllers, it's also like headsets and stuff like that with like little figures and dioramas inside the transparent controllers. But they've also announced they're going to have like some Pikmin controllers. They teased an Optimus Prime themed Transformers controller. So I would say keep an eye out for these controllers and what else might come out of them, because not only are they good wired controllers, which the Switch desperately needs, and by the way, I keep saying Switch, but they are making Xbox controllers as well. It's not just Switch.
Okay. Cool.
And if you're someone who plays on PC and likes controllers, any Xbox controller, you can USB Xbox controller, you can just plug right into your PC and it's plug and play. It works right away. So I might as well say they got PC controllers too. But they just look awesome. And like I've seen people with setups where like they kind of like hang stuff on their wall and display it all through their gaming setup in their gaming room. And these are pieces of art, man. Like these are really cool. And it looks like it's only going to be about $40 for the wired ones and $60 for some wireless ones, which is not terrible.
So bad.
Yeah. So unfortunately, by the time you hear this podcast, it will be over. But this weekend, Baron and I are going to be in person at our first convention that we're going to have a booth at and be working together.
We got signs and everything.
Oh yeah, I'm very excited.
Yeah. I'm excited. This will be like the first con that I'm going to like really with you. It's going to be the first con that we're going to as Casters Guild. It'll be the first con that I'm actually going to with the Spawn. I mean, we've been to Origins, but we've gone on like a Sunday and just went through the exhibition hall.
Right.
You know, this is going to be, you know, we're you know, there at a booth. We're going to be walking around, and then you know, we're going to come back the next day and do it again. And yeah, I'm pretty excited about that.
But it's going to be a 2-day con, Upper Cumberland Game Con. For anyone who hasn't been checking out our Discord and doesn't know what's going on, I will be running Dread on day 1. No, I'm sorry. I'll be running D&D on day 1 and Dread on day 2. We're going to have a booth where we'll be giving out our cards, and there's going to be a LARP throughout the entire convention where it looks like Baron will be playing as an NPC during that LARP.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
We haven't heard anything yet, have we?
The only thing I've heard back is that you're on the list.
Oh, shoot. Okay.
Yeah. So now as far as what role you'll be assigned or what script you'll get, I got nothing yet. You're on the list.
No. Believe me, I don't need anything. There have been times where I went into a con. We're about to tell some con stories, I think.
Sure.
This is before like I was really, really into like, you know, the by night, the World by Night stuff for White Wolf, where they had you could have a character and you could take it to different LARPs and all that stuff. I would go in with my group of friends and be like, hey, you know, we don't have preset characters. Can you just give us something? Man, they would go through and they're like, well, we got this group of people here who are all together. Do you want to just go ahead and play these? I was like, yep, we'll play it. Man, the best time. We had the best time. But yeah, I am pretty good at being handed a character, and as long as I can just, you know, have a little bit of time to get into it, I can nail it. I'm hoping that I really make an impression on the people playing. Mm-hmm. I mean, obviously the people who are running it, but the people playing, as an NPC, those are the ones that I'm caring the most about.
Yeah.
But yeah, that should be fun.
If they like you enough as a character, maybe we'll make some new listeners out of them.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be cool. I'll have to have a pocket full of business cards with me.
But I've been making some stuff that we can kind of sell at our booth. I've got some wine bottle candelabras and some dice chains that I've been making. I'm just really excited. You know, as you know, recently I went to my first Gen Con, and I worked, quote unquote, Gen Con. I mean, I didn't have a booth or anything, and wasn't working for Casters Guild.
Don't quote unquote this bullshit. You had a full 8-hour shift.
I did. Man. The only reason I'm quote unquoting is because I wasn't working at a booth and I wasn't working for Casters Guild. No, I was working as a true dungeon volunteer.
You are quote unquoting because what you didn't feel like work is what you're talking about.
Oh no, it felt like work. It felt like work. It? Yeah, it did. Okay. By the end of that convention, I was glad to hang it up. Not that it wasn't fun, but like right. Work can be fun. I'm sure you were tired. Yeah, it was a lot.
Yeah,
especially for my 36-year-old back. Like it was yelling at me a little bit by the end of the con.
Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah, but
yeah, I know. I said before it was a smaller con, and this is the second year of this con, and I'll be honest, the first year it really was a smaller con. But you've been doing a little bit of research.
Yeah, because like, you were saying that, it was a smaller con, and I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna give this a look. I'm gonna see what they have. I'm gonna see, what's going on, because I'm gonna be honest. When someone says that this is a small con, or something along those lines,
Mhm.
I definitely have immediate preconceptions as to what that means, because I have been to some very small cons. Like, one of the ones that kind of just hops to mind was Capcom in Columbus, Ohio, and at the time it was ran out of the OSU Student Union. Not just the student union, the basement of the student union.
Mm-hmm.
There was like maybe 4 rooms that they were doing stuff in. There were no vendors, nothing, but it was fun. I swear, I can't remember. I think I'm getting cons mixed up, but I swear at some point I played a game with Ed Greenwood.
Oh.
Now, that could have just been them joking around because this guy looked like Ed Greenwood, and they're like, you just played a game with Ed Greenwood. But, I don't think that he couldn't have been at Capcom because it was so fucking small.
Right.
But, whatever. I would have talked shit about his characters either way. And then, I've even did a con at a high school. We went there and we played a couple games of D&D and a quote-unquote LARP. There was no air conditioning in that place. It was hot as hell. But this place has vendors and such, which I was shocked to see after being told that this was going to be a small con.
Well, just let you know, technically, we are a vendor at this con.
Yeah, yes. Yeah, I've been kind of telling people that we're special guests. But I'm pretty sure we had to buy a booth in there. But I mean, we're definitely being. We bought a booth, but if you look at the website, it definitely appears like we're special guests.
Oh yeah,
they're definitely advertising us well.
Oh yeah, which I gotta say, the Rogue and Raven, which is the friendly local game store that is putting on this con, it just kind of goes to show how good of a game store they are and how much they care about the community, that this is their second year and that it has gotten this big. Well, second year as a convention. I think they've been open longer than 2 years now. But they're doing so well. They've already moved to a bigger location once. They've got this awesome convention going on. There's a lot of really cool experiences. There's going to be a D&D, both run by me, and another D&D game run by a different podcast host from another podcast. We've got Dread. There's going to be Dungeon Crawl Classics being run, a Call of Cthulhu game. There's going to be a LARP going on throughout the entire convention, which just sounds so ambitious that anybody who comes to the convention can sign up for this LARP. There's both like a free version and a paid version of this LARP, and you can like just be a character in this LARP. And vendors throughout the convention are all playing NPCs for this thing, and it's just so cool. They're doing like some sort of contest or raffle. I don't know exactly what to call it, but basically they're encouraging people to visit all the booths, and you get points for like buying things from the booths, or if it's a podcast, you get points for like following them as a podcast, and like you can use those points toward winning prizes. There's going to be a Warhammer tournament. There's going to be food trucks. It's just really cool, and I'm glad that if we are going to be setting up a booth at a convention, that it's this one, and it's one that can treat us so well.
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
I think it's honestly just a matter of time before we start to get panels at this convention, like in future years, and you and I might be speaking at some of the panels.
That'd be great. I also just realized. Okay, so. Oh, okay. No, never mind. Maybe I'm. Sorry. I looked at the LARP area, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to look at this. I'm going to see what's going on, and I'm wondering. I wonder what kind of LARP they're doing, because I just realized that LARP means different things to different people now, which is a whole conversation in and of itself. Because, me growing up in the geek world, LARP is, you put on your goth clothes, You walk around. You walk around. You know, the little area that you're doing stuff in, and when you do challenges, you throw rock paper scissors. You know, blah blah blah.
Mhm.
LARP nowadays means, you know, you got boffer weapons and, you know, shields, and you're out there being physical. And I'm like, nerds being physical? I don't know.
Is there a word? Okay, so I know boffer LARP is like the term for the one where you're like swinging weapons at each other. Is there a term to distinguish the other type of LARP?
Yeah, it's called LARP. And then there's boffer LARP. No, I would... I mean, honestly, that's kind of what I'm almost willing to stick with that, though.
Sure, but no, the to kind of answer your question, both are going to be there.
Oh, really?
There will be the convention-wide LARP that like you're signing up as an NPC for. That is the just LARP, and then there is a whole nother section where boffer LARPers are setting up, and just like you can just kind of participate in something like that. The Spawn did something like this at Origins, where, you know, he just went in and like he was handed a couple weapons and taught a few things and got to fight for a second. I took a bunch of pictures. I love them. They're awesome. So they're doing both. Like you can sign up and kind of do some boffer LARPing, or like there's the convention wide LARP, just like role playing LARP, where, you know, vendors are signing up as NPCs for.
So I kind of looked it up because you asked that question. I instantly interested me, and I found the LARP life at .wordpress.com. You know, obviously a personal website of somebody. So this is absolutely, I believe, coming from the opinion of, I believe, a boffer LARPer. Because even they say there are three main types of styles that LARPs fall under. Demonstrative, which is your basic boffer LARP, is what they called it. Salon, or theater style. LARPs focus on interactions between players without using weapons. This theater style, I feel like, really covers what the White Wolf LARPing is. That's actually a really, really good description. I don't know if that's officially description.
I like it. I like the term, whether it's official or not. Like, I think that's very descriptive for what it is.
Yeah, I like it. Yeah, and I'm actually kind of seeing it other places where it's called theatrical. I found something else. Okay, I've seen three different types of there was demonstrative, boffer LARPs, and salon, like Mind's Eye Theater, which is the White Wolf. So yeah. This is cool too. I'm seeing them not types of LARP. They're referring to them as resolution systems, which I think is beautiful. That is beautiful, because that's really what it comes down to is how do you resolve interactions or combat or conflict. So yeah, I really like that. I don't like how they said the salon solution is a pre-resolved outcome acted out with nearly full speed maneuvers. Oh, they're saying live steel is that. Okay, good. I was like, but I don't know anything about live steel. That's steel LARP is like, what?
That's almost, a lot of them aren't even LARP. That's like reenactments.
Yeah.
Which honestly, reenactments are technically a LARP, I guess.
Yeah, no, it really is.
Yeah.
It really is. But yeah, no, I like that. I'm glad, because that's really something. See, I don't know if anybody out there listens, but we here at the Guild, you know, we're busy with the Guild. We do stuff with the Guild. We don't really get out and get to talk to other geeks very much. We only get conversation with geeks that come into the Guild Hall. Especially after this pandemic.
It is a limited scope. We have to admit that, like, there are geeks outside of what we perceive.
Absolutely. So yeah, I guess I've never really put much thought into what these different types of LARPs are called, let alone ask about it and use these terms. So yeah, so to find out this kind of the mindsets out there, and actually hearing the different terms and stuff, it makes a lot of sense. I mean, I'm still probably never going to call LARP anything other than boffer LARP, because to me, LARP is the theatrical style.
Mm-hmm.
But there are other people who will do it the other way.
Maybe we need to reach out to Cabot and see what our fellow guild member thinks about it.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah, I'll see if I'll ask him and see if there are like maybe even like pejorative terms for like theater LARP style players, because for me, when I say boffer LARP, I'm not. I guess I'm not trying to sound nice about it. But and honestly, it's not because I have anything against that kind of LARP. It's just the whole. For me, it's the whole sweeping in, and now that is LARP.
Yeah.
Instead of this is what it came from, and now it's like, but that still exists. So
I've always read it from you as kind of like a tongue-in-cheek, friendly rivalry type of thing.
Yes,
kind of like how like when I was in the Navy, like we'd make fun of the Marines, and the Marines would make fun of us. We love each other. Like we have nothing actually against each other, but we make fun of each other all the time. And that's kind of how I read the way you kind of make fun of quote unquote boffer LARPers.
But I will say this, boffer LARPers, calling yourself LARP and that's it. That would be just like having punk music, and then when goth split off from punk, calling that punk music. That's exactly what that is. That's all that is. You can't split off. You can't split off from something and be like, well, I guess I'm LARP now. Now I will say this. I think I'm going to kind of go back on what I said, and I would argue that the SCA is probably one of the first quote-unquote LARPs that probably existed. Not counting reenactors, because I don't even think reenactors call it LARP, so I'm not going to call it LARP. But the SCA, that is very much not reenactment. It is not even necessarily historically accurate, and there is role-playing that goes on. They may not call it role-playing, but it's probably role-playing. They're not really lords and ladies and stuff like that.
Unless they bought themselves a square foot of land in Scotland.
Right, yeah. Which, bow before me. No, I didn't.
I'll be honest, I was given one as a gift for Christmas one year, so I am Lord Richard Perry, technically. I've got the certificate hanging up. Yeah. I don't actually ask people to call me that because I feel like that's a little pretentious. And also like not even real. Like it's a square foot of land. Like it's a gag gift in my opinion. Not that I don't appreciate it, Mom. Like I really do love that you got me a square foot of land in Scotland, but yeah, like
right. You can't go to that square foot of land and be like, this is mine. You can't do anything about it. I'm gonna
all the squares next to me, so like I have like a 9 square feet.
right. So I'm not. I guess I gotta hold myself in check again. It's another Harley Quinn situation. We're bringing it back around.
Yeah.
The earliest, according to Wikipedia, and let me see what source they are citing. Oh, they're okay. They're citing from the website of the organization I'm about to say. They're saying the first earliest recorded LARP was Dagger Here, which is a boffer LARP.
Yeah.
I don't know exactly how they did things back then.
I can't imagine it's changed all that much when it comes to like boffer weapon systems where, you get hit in the arm, you lose the arm, you get hit in this. I can't imagine.
Do you think they just use sticks and stuff? Because they didn't have like the foam and stuff that we have nowadays.
Who knows? I mean, like they had to have some sort of protection, right? Like maybe it wasn't like official foam or like the stuff that they use today, but maybe they used they took a stick and put a pool noodle on it. Who knows?
I don't know. Then you have Society for Interactive Literature, which is the predecessor to the Live Action Role Players Association, formed as the first recorded theater-style LARP group in the U.S., and that was in 1982. Dagger Here was founded in 1977.
Mm.
1977.
So it's not hugely far apart. It looks like they've been growing together side by side throughout the years.
Soon after the release of the movie Logan's Run in 1976, rudimentary live-action role-playing games based on the movie were run at U.S. science fiction conventions. Logan's Run inspired LARP. Who would have thought?
Guessed.
Who would have thought?
I mean, I don't. Honestly, I kind of expect Star Trek to be at the forefront of everything when it comes to the geek community. I mean, cosplay, conventions. Like, I would have thought there would be like a bridge live-action role-play experience before anything else at like a Star Trek convention.
I will also say that one of the best LARPs I ever played was a theater-style Star Trek game.
Yeah.
Fun. I've talked about it on this. I'm not going to talk about it again. I've talked about it on the cast before, but yeah, it was a lot of fun.
It's just, I just had to bring that up because I never would have expected Logan's Run. If you'd have said Star Trek, I'd have been like, yeah, makes sense. Makes sense. Logan's Run is like, I would not have guessed that, not in a million years.
So yeah, just remind me. I got to talk to Cabot and see if they have any way they describe theater style LARPers.
Maybe we could just ask him to come back on again.
Yeah, we could do that. I'm sure that he would enjoy that.
All right, well, hopefully, by the time you're hearing this, if you're anywhere near the Upper Cumberland area in Tennessee, that you just saw us in person at our first ever convention booth. I'm excited. Hope to see you there. Hope we saw you there. And with that, I think we're going to call this an episode.
Already.
So email us at castersguild@gmail.com. Come join us on our Discord. That is where all the fun stuff is happening. And we will see you in the next one. Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye. Bye.
Bye.
See you later. Bye. Bye. Theater style LARP is better.